Hello there. So today I'm talking all about bronzers. I am going to be giving you my top 10 favorite bronzers for the spring and summertime. I mean, you could wear them any time of year, but since it's spring and summertime, I thought this would be a fun video to do. So I have 5 high-end powder bronzers, 2 drugstore powder bronzers, and 3 cream formulas here. And as a bonus, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my favorite cream contour and powder contour while we're at it. Why not? So I think at the end of this video, I am going to include swatches of these bronzers with each other, as well as some other brands that are, pretty well known that you guys might want to see comparisons of, because I think comparisons of bronzer shades can be really helpful for you guys. So I definitely will do that towards the end of the video at some point. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first, if you are not subscribed to my channel yet, if maybe it's your first time here or you've been watching my videos and you just haven't hit subscribe yet, I would love it if you would consider doing so before the end of this video. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the first bronzer. I'm going to go ahead and get this first bronzer out of the way because you have already heard me talk about this a ton. If you saw my recent Holy Grail makeup video, this is the bronzer that I mentioned in that video, so it will be no surprise that it's in this one too. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer in the shade Tantastic. This is just perfect for me. I love that you get so much product for your money, 25 grams versus 6 to 7 grams in other products. I have been using this forever and it just keeps lasting and lasting and lasting. You also have a nice big mirror, so it's actually great to travel with. But more than those features, I love what it looks like on the face and how easy it is to apply. It's a matte bronzer that's not orangey. It's neutral enough to where if I do want to go a little bit heavier and kind of use it as a contour, it works that way too. I just love how big the pan is and how easy it is to apply and just how natural it looks on my skin tone. So yes, I love it. I think it's great. I think everyone should own it. Totally worth the money for the amount of product and the quality that you get. Let's mix this up a little bit and move to a drugstore option that I've talked about on my channel before, and I just think is such a great bronzer. This is the number 7 bronzer in the shade Golden Sand. Now there are several shades in this bronzer. I did have it in another shade at one point, but it didn't suit my skin tone as much as Golden Sand does. This is a more natural looking shade, kind of a lighter tone. So if you have a light medium skin tone like I do, or lighter, I think this would really work for you. The quality is just silky, silky smooth. It's got a kind of satiny finish to it that on my skin appears matte. So this is one of the 2 drugstore bronzers that made this top best bronzer video. And I think the other one will probably surprise you when we get to that one, because I did this video a few years ago and there's a few options that were in that one that are not in this one. It doesn't mean I don't love those products. I just have other products that I've discovered that just kind of superseded them for some reason. So that's all it really is. So let's go to a bronzer that's in a different format. It's not really actually a bronzer. This is a loose powder. This is the By Terry Hyaluronic Tinted Hydra Powder in the shade 600 Dark. It does beautiful things for the skin. It basically hides your pores completely and just gives an airbrushed, beautiful finish to the skin. And the powders have hyaluronic acid and other good ingredients in them, and so they're very good for the skin as well. I find I only need a teeny tiny bit of this dabbed from the lid and dusted lightly on the face to give me just a beautiful sun-kissed finish. I even slept in this a couple of times on accident. I just fell asleep and I feel like somehow my skin looked clearer when I woke up. It's probably my imagination. I just feel like this gives me really healthy looking, beautiful skin. And I've actually been surprised at how much I enjoy using this as a bronzer. So this is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in Intensity 1. I adore this. I know it's supposed to be, I think, a contour, but the shade is just perfect for a deeper, more sun-kissed look that I personally use for a bronzer. Now, I do use the Illuminate part sometimes, but I really mostly use this for the bronzer. I never thought that I would spend this much on a bronzer. I purchased this because of how many people raved about it. I first saw it on Jamie Page's channel and I resisted, but then I kept seeing raves for it. And the raves are legit. This is so easy to apply. It blends out so easily and has this beautiful translucency to it. I feel like it just gives me exactly what I want from a cream formula, and it doesn't stay tacky. It sets down without setting down too quickly, which is important when you're working with a cream product. It just looks beautiful and healthy. I kind of wish I didn't like this as much as I did because it just, you know, the price, but it has been worth it. And I feel like I only need the tiniest amount because of the depth. And that's the other thing, is that it looks deep, but it blends out so easily that it just works. It just works. This is a bronzer that I thought I wasn't gonna like when I first got it. I thought because it looks so matte, my brush was gonna kick up a lot of product. I thought the brush would deposit a lot of product in one spot and it would be hard to work with. But it was the exact opposite of that. I have been so pleased with this bronzer, surprisingly so. This is the Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Private Island. Ooh, that's reflective. I feel like it looks orangey on the screen, but it's really, really not orangey on the face, or else I would not be loving it the way that I do. I find it is a warm shade, but in a good way. It just gives me that golden sun-kissed look as opposed to a more neutral look, which is what I like sometimes. It applies very sheer yet smooth on the skin. It's matte, it's natural, it's kind of everything that you want from an easy to apply bronzer. This is a great product from Fenty for sure. This next bronzer is a stick formula, which I think can come in really handy for when you travel or if you just want to apply something really quickly and you like a cream formula. My worry with stick products is that they're going to stick in one spot, no pun intended, and not move or blend out very easily. And this is a stick bronzer that just works. It works really beautifully and it lasts a long time as well. This is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer in Baked. So I'll take the lid off just to make this easier so you can see it. It's a nice neutral shade. It doesn't look gray like contour, but it's not too orangey. If you want to apply it straight from the stick onto your face and blend it out, it works really easily that way. Or you can dip your brush into it and apply it that way. It's very versatile and it's a great travel option. I've really enjoyed this and I resisted buying it for a long time because I just didn't think that it would work for me. I thought it would be a little bit hard to work with, but it's very easy to work with, very similarly to the stick highlighter from Milk that I really, really enjoy as well. So if you are looking for a stick formula, this is a great one, an absolutely great one of my top 3 cream formulas. So this is my next drugstore bronzer that I really, really love. And it's really big, which I love too. So this is the L'Oreal Bronze Please Laterra bronzer. And I am in shade 3, Amalfi. It looks like it's this, I don't know, kind of burnt terracotta shade. I'm trying to get just the right angle here. And it is. It's kind of a burnt terracotta, but it doesn't go on orange. It gives a beautiful sun-kissed look. I know there's a lot of repetition in here, but we're talking about bronzers and they kind of do one thing. They bronze up the face and make you have a healthy glow. This has a little bit of a sheen to it, but just enough to give a radiance. And it doesn't look shiny. It doesn't look glittery. If you like a radiant bronzer and you want a less expensive option, this one is really nice. And I love the big pan size. I just feel like that makes it really easy to work with. You know, the only drawback is no mirror, but a lot of drugstore products don't have mirrors in them. I mean, I've even gotten a few products from Sephora that don't have mirrors in them. But if you are looking for a bronzer that gives you a little bit of luminosity, a little bit of a healthy glow with your bronze, this is a good one. This will give that to you. And on the high-end side side of things, if you're looking for a radiant, luminous look with your bronze, we have the Becca Sunlit bronzer in the shade Capri Coast specifically. I have this in another shade, which I like. It's a little bit deeper. I'll put the other shade down below. I am blanking on it right now. This shade in particular, as you can tell, I freely like, and I have a backup waiting for me once this runs out, but I'm determined to use up the whole thing. So in a dupes video, I actually had said that this was, to me, kind of a blend of Capri Coast and the deeper shade that I have. So that's another reason why I like this product. But this shade to me is the perfect luminous, radiant bronzer for my particular light, medium, warm skin tone. It doesn't pull too yellow. It doesn't pull too orange. It doesn't pull too brown or gray. When I am going for a beachy, sun-kissed look and I want a little bit of glow, a little bit of bronze, this is the bronzer that I typically reach for. It just gives me that perfect look that I am looking for, and the formula of these bronzers is so good. I feel like they're really known for their bronzers, and there's a reason for that. So yes, this is a staple for me. This is really, really high up here. I love it. It's a beautiful formula. It's a beautiful shade, but they do have many shades to choose from, which is another reason why I like the Becca Sunlit bronzers. So this had to be in this video. Okay, my third cream formula is a newer one for me, and I needed to give you an update on it, but it became a fast favorite, and it was kind of a last-minute decision for me to order this. This is the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in Seychelles. First of all, the packaging is very unique. It clearly looks different than any other bronzers that I own, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing. I really love this shade, but it's got a matte texture, so it can kind of get dirty. There is a little mirror in here. This is a really nice formula if you're wanting a pan cream that applies super easily. It blends out, it lasts a long time, and it's flattering. It's a great neutral shade. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. It's just that perfect shade that's versatile. It's gonna give you a great bronzy glow. It doesn't leave me tacky or sticky. It settles into the skin. I love that I have time to work with it and how easy it is to blend out. This is one that I just threw in my cart last minute. So I'm really, really glad that I did, because I have been thoroughly loving this, and it just, yeah, ended up in this video for a reason. Okay, this next one is new to me too, but I have used it enough now to know that yes, this is in the top 10. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer Matte Bronzing Filter for face and body. So this is another very big bronzer. And you know, from what I said about the Marc Jacobs bronzer, that I love big pans. I just think that they're so easy to work with and allow you to apply things so quickly. I have the shade medium, and that is the bronzer that I have on today, just very lightly. What I like about this shade is that it is warmer. It almost looks like it's gonna be too orangey. I was a little bit nervous, but it just gives that nice warmth to the skin without going into orangey territory. I've been enjoying how silky smooth this is for a matte formula. It doesn't pick up too much on the brush. It applies beautifully. It's not patchy. It blends out easily, and it lasts a long time on my skin. I mean, what more could you ask for? I just feel like it looks beautiful every time I apply it, and it applies to the body easily. It just does basically everything that I want it to do. Now, I have to also just at least give the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow a little bit of a mention here, because I know there's been a little bit of a question with the differences between the light medium Film Star Bronze and Glow and the medium in this, because these are the two bronzer shades that are the closest. So I'll show you both of these swatched on my arm here. You can see that the bronzer in the Film Star Bronze and Glow is a little bit cooler, and it has a little bit of a sheen to it, kind of undetectable, whereas the medium in the Airbrush bronzer is a matte formula and it has more warmth to it. If this was too light for you and you have light, medium, or medium skin tone, this would probably work really well, because the next jump deeper is pretty deep. But if you're wanting kind of an all-in-one bronzer and highlight, this is a great option. And I don't find that this bronzer is too light for me. I do have to use a heavier hand, whereas I can just use a light hand with this and it looks really nice. I am so glad that I got this. Of course, the packaging is lovely because it's Charlotte Tilbury, but the product inside is exceptional. It does feel very silky, a lot like her Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, which I adore. So to me, it's kind of like that, but in bronzer formula and, you know, with a bigger diameter pan size, which is nice. I have a favorite contouring stick and a powder here. You guys that have followed me for a long time have known this has been my favorite contour powder for several years now, and I'm still on the same exact one, and it looks so sad. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Medium Sculpting Powder. It is the perfect shade if you are wanting a little bit of depth under your cheekbones, under your jaw, your forehead line, wherever you want that shadowy effect. You want a brown tone that is cut with a little bit of gray, and this is just perfect. I know there are other shades, but this one is perfect for me, and I do have a backup of this waiting for whenever this decides to run out. Absolutely beautiful. The formula is smooth, never ever patchy. I can't see ever being without this in my life. Now for a cream contour, the Fenty Match Sticks in Amber is my stick contour of choice. I feel like this gives me the exact same thing but in stick form. So if I'm wanting to cream contour and I want that shadow shade brown cut with a little bit of gray, I can apply it straight with the stick and blend it out with a brush or a sponge, and it doesn't disturb my makeup underneath, and it's not sticky or tacky, and it lasts all day. It's a beautiful product. So I love this Fenty Match Sticks in Amber for my cream contour option. Here are the swatches of the powder bronzers that I talked about in today's video, along with some other powder bronzers that are frequently talked about and that get pretty high ratings across the board. The top row is the high end and the bottom row is the drugstore row. And here are the cream bronzer swatches as well. These will be on my blog later, but I wanted to go ahead and post these swatches here for you just in case you're wondering how these bronzers compare to each other. If you haven't seen my Holy Grail makeup video, I'll leave that linked for you here. I have a lot of good products in that video, and I would love to hear your top favorite bronzer. Leave that for me in the comments. I'm always looking to try new things. If you are not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button before you leave this video. Become part of the family. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.